right, so welcome to the weekend where I forgot how to drive and lost all my confidence. Although by some miracle, I managed to qualify P2, which I'm still not quite sure how that happened. We were in the big board group this weekend, and we had our own split start, which was a huge improvement to the quality of our race. So big thanks to whoever made that happen. Here we get to green. I get a decent start, although we're going into one which was my Achilles heel all weekend long. Hartley is right behind Rob. I know he's going to go down there, so I back out of it way too much. And then just get freight trained here. And yeah, I'll talk about in a little bit what happened in turn one. It was all weekend long I struggled with that. But we've gone through one corner and I've gone from second to sixth, which is less than ideal. Going into the carousel, Farmer gets loose on the exit here and spins off, unfortunately into the barriers, so his race was over after only a few corners there. I had a lot of confidence in the brakes going into the hairpin, so I go down the inside of Doug here. I'm able to get that position back, so now I've got 2 spots back in the first half of the lap, which is salvaged some of that. Fast forward to the next lap. This is kind of the whole race in the microcosm here. Really good under the brakes, got right back up under Peter's gearbox, but then he is so quick coming out of it that he just gaps me pretty significantly. Fast forward the next lap, now caught back up to him going into turn 3. I'm pretty good through the carousel. It was pretty quick through here throughout the weekend. Get a decent exit. Those skies are starting to look a little more threatening. And I've got a good run going down the backstretch. And I pop out for the first time this race and pass him going into the hairpin. Get a decent exit. I mean, it wasn't the best, but it wasn't necessarily terrible. But he's right there on my gearbox again. And he pulls alongside of me going into turn 10. Rob and Hartley have pulled away, so that leaves Peter and I fighting for the last position on the podium. He had me covered in the high-speed stuff. I think I had him covered in the low-speed stuff. So we had a pretty good race here. You see, gaps me there through 17, and then going through 1, I don't know what it was. I just could not get the car to sit, and I just could not feel. You'll see how much quicker he's able to get on the power than I am. I'm just waiting to get on it, and he just pulls out so much on me there. I don't know how to explain it. I wish if I was smart enough, I probably would have been able to explain it. We probably could have fixed it, but I just struggled with that all weekend long. But same thing, get a good run going through 5, coming out of the carousel. I'm not right there, but I know I'm close enough. So again, going into the braking zone, I pop out and make the move for the second time to get back up into 3rd. I don't think my exits are that bad coming out of there. You might tell me otherwise, but he was just so quick. He's right back alongside of me by the time we get to the next corner. So I'm closer through 10 this time. We're starting to catch some lap traffic here. And for a second, I think I'm going to go down the inside of Water Tower, but back out of it at the last minute. I told you I lost all my confidence this weekend and lose a little bit on him. He's able to get through this lap traffic, which creates some separation. So fast forward a few laps, I've caught back up to him. You're starting to see rain on the camera now. Just the first few drops are coming. I'm closer. I was really good through that last section heading onto the backstretch. But man, even in the draft, that radon is slippery. It was hard to get up to him. So going into 17, try a little bit different of a wider line there. I'm not sure if that was the right thing to do. But get a decent exit. Try to draft up on him. Miss a shift. Get a visit from my old nemesis, that worn out dog ring. And then close going into one. Pretty good at carrying speed through the first half, but then again, I just couldn't get back to power. I lost so much confidence in that turn. I had to go to therapy after this weekend. Well, at least my wife wishes. Get a good run through the carousel. Great run. Right up on his gearbox. Closest I've been yet. But I think he's starting to figure me out here. He goes much deeper into the brake zone. I don't get all the way there. So he comes across the nose and then opens up a big gap again. Coming into 14, 15, 16. Trying to fill his mirrors. Force him into a mistake. He was pretty good through the first high-speed part of that, but I was able to catch up. Pretty good going into it, and then even come out, got a few car lengths on him there. Trying to stay in the draft the best I can, try to get as close as I can. So I know he's got me covered in these next two corners coming up. Go through 17 again. He goes much tighter, I go much wider. Still haven't figured out what's better there. Probably not what I was doing. In the draft, going into my favorite turn. And getting better, at least in the first half of it, but still struggling mightily to get on the power. Just watch him sail away from me. Just quite disheartening. But able to catch back up to him relatively quickly going into this section. And what do you know it? I've got a great run coming out of the carousel, going down the backstretch. So you already know what I'm going to do. He knows, I know, everybody knows. Go down the inside and pass him again. They say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. I'm not sure what I was expecting here, but it wasn't this. You think I'd be smart enough to figure this out by now, but no. Starting to see a few more raindrops now. Rain's starting to pick up rather significantly. We're all on slick tires, which is fun. Each turn we got to was a little slicker than the last one, so it was learning on the fly. Fast forward now, the FE2 leaders are coming through. First guy gets by Peter going into 3. Second place is right behind me, going through the carousel. And he goes to the outside here. I think he's going to pull out and pass Peter in the brake zone, but he kind of just stays behind him in line. So based on what that guy did to Bob Wright earlier in the weekend, I kind of stayed back, kept my distance. So he gets by me. Rain's coming down a little bit harder now. Gets by Peter going into 10. Peter goes wide. And we're close to the end of the race, so the urgency has picked up a few notches. And I'm doing everything I can to, I really need to get by him and make it stick for once. So heading down the back part of the circuit towards 14, 15, 16. We get to 14 and it is really raining and quite slippery going through here. See Peter goes really wide. But I get a great run, and I'm right on him. This is my best chance so far to get him going down the backstretch. Pull out of the draft, and then sort of just stall out. I don't know if that's aero, engine, combination, all three. But he even starts to gain on me there. We go through 17. It is really wet. He has a moment, I have a moment. He opens up a big gap on me. And here we go, white flag. This is the last chance I have to make anything happen. If you don't have a lot of confidence in the dry in turn one, doing it in the wet on slick tires, yeah, I don't know what to say about that. So trying to catch up to him the best I can, hit this painted line, almost throw it away. And now I'm too far back coming out of the carousel to make any move down into the hairpin, which is probably for the best given my track record there. We get to the hairpin, there's actually a waving yellow, and Deffer is sitting sideways at the apex. He had spun, I think, under braking. A few other cars also spun and ran into him. I don't know if that was before or after that by the time we got there, but it was sketchy at this point. I have a little lockup on my second to first downshift there. We get to Water Tower. There's another waving yellow with another car off at the exit. There's a lot of cars on the side of the road on this last lap. We catch this FE2, who out of nowhere hits the brakes going into 13, totally catches Peter by surprise, catches me by surprise. So now I'm just focused on getting lined up and get a good run out of 16, hopefully make a move down the backstretch. I hit this painted line, and game over. Get the car restarted and get going again. Dropped a couple positions, but thankfully none of them were in class. Pulled out right in front of Bart Wolf, so little courtesy wave to thank him for not running into me. And then just tiptoed through 17 and across the line to take the checker. P4, congrats to Peter. He had me covered even without that spin, so kudos to him. Coming through in the last lap, turn 17, there was cars off all over the place. But yeah, happy to be done with this weekend. It was a tough one to forget, but we regroup and on to the next.